Good evening, Altis. This is Crunchy Badger here with Channel 7 News. Tonight, we bring you a special report. For many days, the civilians of Altis have witnessed various conflicts between the police and a rebel faction on the island known as the Pirates. Tonight, exclusively on Channel 7 News, we sit down with one of the leaders of the pirate group in an effort to understand why, that on an almost daily basis, the police and the pirates square off in a firefight after firefight. Joining us now is Captain iDrake, the executive officer and second in command of the pirates. iDrake, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on tonight, Crunchy.
You're welcome. I'd like to start off by asking you a question. It seems that in the past month or so, the Pirates had started off as a small group of 4 members and now has numbers nearing 20. In just 1 month's time, that's a significant increase in size. Why is it that so many people seem to want to join you? There are even former police officers that are enlisted in your ranks. Is that correct too?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask, Crunchy. I think the main reasons why so many members have decided to join the Pirates comes down to 3 key items. First off, we're organized. Altus has seen the coming and goings of various rebel groups before in its history that have been completely grabastic by nature. What the core leadership of the Pirates have decided is that to start with a strong foundation, we need people in charge that have the ability to take command of the men in our unit, but to set up events, missions, and goals for the entire group. Everyone working towards a common purpose helps build that level of organization. The second key item is honor. It is one of my own core values as a person, as a man, and as a soldier. Every pirate member has a code of honor about them. We do not tolerate men that want to troll, harass, and grief and cause drama and dissension within the third, and maybe most importantly, every single one of us has been on the beating end of the stick when it comes to the police. Before we were pirates, we were civilians. The corruption of the Alta's government and the Gestapo-esque policies enforced by the police have touched every one of us. There isn't a pirate member that hasn't been abused in some way by members of the police. It's because of that many want to join us and dish out a bit of retribution to those that try to oppress the citizens of Altus.
I see. The leader of the pirates, Tony Stark, he was a former police officer, wasn't he?
That is correct.
Tell us about Tony Stark, if you would, please.
Tony is who I refer to as the boss. What he says goes. There's no questioning his command. If he says do it, we do it. Every one of us knows what comes the end of the day is he's the leader. He's the backbone of the pirates. We all have respect for him, not just as a leader, but for being the heart and soul of the pirates.
Why do you think Tony decided to leave the police after serving with them for a while?
Well, that's a fair question, but I will not speak for the boss directly. If you'd like an answer on that one, then he will give it to you himself.
Alright, so many of the citizens of Altis are scared of the pirates and their activities. Police have estimated that drug trafficking has increased by over 200% since your faction's formation. What do you have to say about providing the underprivileged citizens of Altis easy and widespread access to these drugs? There was even one report that you'd set up a drug distribution ring within Kavla and were using the burger huts to give these drugs away freely to civilians.
Well, we look at it like this. The police are well funded. They have equipment and manpower. It comes to resources. The pirates need funds in order to operate. And if running coke is the best option, we're going to take it. The problem is not with the level of drugs on the island, it's with having an oppressive political party in place that continues to try and limit the average citizen from being able to earn a decent wage. You come to Altus, you get $300 and a slap on the back and told, hey, go have fun out there. I remember when I first came to the island, I had goals of acquiring wealth and being able to help fellow citizens out with free handouts and such. I was building up my nest egg, but it seemed like a daily battle to try and stay ahead. You work, you put so much work into getting off your feet. It's tremendous. It doesn't help at all that, I had been robbed several times by rebel groups and the police didn't seem to be of any help to me. I reached my point and I said, I'm not going to stand for it anymore. So instead of picking up salt, I picked up a gun. Running drugs gives me the money that I need to keep myself safe and protected, but also my pirate brothers and sisters.
Do you think you're really making a difference? What accomplishments have you made as a pirate?
Well, I do think that we're making a difference, and I speak for myself when I say this. But being well armed and having cash on hand, I've met some really good people on the island. I'll stop and talk to them for a bit and help them out, give them a 300,000 in cash if they are new to the island, just so they can get started and get established. I will talk to them a bit, show them the ropes to a certain extent, maybe even lend out one of my Pirate Mohawk helicopters that we have so they can fly around and make some money. Of course, being a pirate, I always make the offer to pay for the cocaine processing training as well. It helps the average Joe, and that's what the pirates are all about. We're here for the little guy, the guy tired of being pushed around by the large bullies. We fight, we bleed, and we die for the citizens of Altus.
And do you have an example of how the pirates have helped improve the lives of people on the island?
Well, one of the things that the pirates were in support of was the declaration that Kavala become a safe zone. People need a place to go where they don't have to worry each time about walking down the street and having some rebel shoot them dead while they're picking peaches. Other rebel groups agreed to this as well. Acts like that had gone on long enough. So when it came time to decide, we backed the government's decision on that. It might have been the only thing about the government that we supported, but it's still one thing that has made lives better for the civilians.
But you're a rebel group. Weren't you the ones killing and robbing people?
No. Again, pirates don't exist to make life harder on that little guy. It was other groups that did that, and we had a few skirmishes with them over the matter too. In the end, those groups are now gone, and we remain. The pirates have a policy of not injuring civilians unless it's called for.
Police records show that you've been arrested and convicted several times for manslaughter. In one report, you murdered 4 civilians at the Cavalier marketplace. How can you say you're here to help the little guy, but at the same time, you kill them?
I know about that situation you're talking about, and it still makes me chuckle. So, allow me to explain. This was back in the day before Kavala had become a safe zone, and I was by myself walking through Kavala with an assault rifle, as a pirate does. I was bored and looking for a bit of fun. I saw 2 guys at the Kavala market with no police around, so I ran up to them, told them to get down on the ground, don't move or I would shoot. One of them ran straight towards me. Bang! Dead. Killed him. Do I feel bad about it? Not in the slightest. There's a saying that says common sense isn't common, and that is so very true. If a stranger walks up to you in the street with an assault rifle and tells you don't move or I'll shoot you, what do you think is going to happen when you run straight at him? So I killed him. The second guy, he laid down, stayed there for a bit, started running his mouth and calling me a faggot and all this other stuff. I thought to myself, wow, this guy's really got some balls on him. So I knocked him down, took $15 off him, and said, look, I'm going to let you live, but watch your mouth. As I turned away, he told me to go fuck myself and called me a faggot again. I turned around and shot him in the head. Bang! Dead. The way I look at this is natural selection. Stupid people need to die off. If you lack the survival skills to not mouth off to someone holding an assault rifle, I'm not sure that I want you spreading your DNA around and polluting the gene pool of the rest of the world. Do I feel the slightest bit bad about doing that? Not at all.
So, what happened next?
Guy kept coming back to me. He said he wanted to have a fist fight with me. I asked him, are you really, really sure? I asked twice that you want to have a fist fight with someone holding an assault rifle? He said yes. I leveled my rifle at his chest and squeezed off 3 rounds and said, I win. And then I walked off. I didn't get very far. An officer tased me and took me to jail. But I was amazed by the sheer stupidity and felt like I was doing the world a favor by removing that regurgitated cum bubble from existence.
Well, that seems pretty cold, but we'll move on. Lately, the police have conducted a number of raids upon your base. Can you tell us about the most recent one that happened?
Sure, I can. We had a pirate member that was being engaged by the police. When this happens, the pirates will flock to help our teammate. We got in the air, but the police were already there and they ended up killing our brother. After that, we fell back and prepared to extract. The police came for us, of course, but we requested help from some of the LG guys, another good group of guys. They rolled in 3 efforts and several men to our location. We were able to extract out of the area with a helicopter. As we were going back to our base, the LG commander Squirrel came on the radio and told us that they had captured a cop and were taking him hostage. Naturally, they brought him to our base. I won't get into the details about what happened to the officer while he was there, but I will say this: the LG guys proved 2 things. One, cops are not angels and they lack the wings needed in order to fly. And second, that cops do not bounce after they hit the ground. So naturally, the police were pretty pissed off about us after that.
And so they raided your base.
Exactly. They brought out their little boat with a minigun right from the start. I thought that was just fantastic. Before any cop was a kilometer from our base, we were already given notice that the police were going lethal against us with a minigun. There was a period, about 5 to 10 minutes, where the boat just shot the hell out of our base and even took down the central tower, killing one man that we had up there. The pirate they killed, his name was Shadow. Before Shadow died, though, he was able to detonate an IED we had outside of our base and took one cop out. That was pretty nice. In the end, we held the base. We lost only one man, and the cops ended up losing about 8 men total, so it was another victory for us.
So, what is your motivation for this war against the police?
Now, each man has his own motivation, but my motivation is I want to see the government of Altus stop dumping millions of dollars into a police force and using it to maintain an iron like grip on the throat of everyday citizens. I want to see them take those millions and invest it in education and infrastructure projects. Spend money on things that will better the lives for everyone. For right now, all they want to do is spend money on cop cars, guns, and bullets.
And do you see any cessation to the conflict between the rebel groups and the police in the future?
Not for a long time, sadly. Each side believes that it's doing what it thinks is best for the people. But the thing is, Crunchy, I've stood in the shoes of a police cadet myself. When I first came to Aldous, I met a man named Tankor, and he saved my life. That's one of the few police officers I have a profound level of respect for, and he encouraged me to become an officer. 2 days is all it took. I was a cadet for 2 days, and I had seen enough in that time. The conduct of the police was horrid, and it's not what I wanted to be a part of. Now the police have gotten better, but they still have a ways to go yet, just like the pirates have a ways to go too.
So, who are the other officers you have respect for?
Well, they know who they are, and I think that's all that matters.
And what's on the agenda for the pirates now?
Well, we're going to continue to refine our tactics and train. We have a great group of guys, and we continue to meet new groups on the island all the time that have the same goals as us. So we will help them out when we can. They will help us, and eventually our goal will be to start claiming territory and putting Altus under our protection. It's a lofty goal, we know, but when you have so much on the table, you're willing to give up everything to protect it.
Thank you very much for your time tonight, iDrake. It seems clear that the pirates continue to grow in numbers and strength. As another day comes to a close on the island, right now everything is relatively peaceful and quiet near the Pyrgos Gulf. Next question is, what will tomorrow bring? Another battle between the police and rebels, or will cooler heads eventually prevail? And will leaders on all sides eventually sit down and look at one another across the table of peace, or will it be looking through the sights of a gun? One thing remains clear. The island is divided right now. There is no unity between the citizens of Altis. Some have decided to take the law into their own hands and pick up guns, while many others continue to side with the elected government of Altis. This has been Crunchy Badger reporting for Channel 7 News. Thank you for joining us this evening, and good night.